proud, just like really put it out there.
Okay.
Okay, slide down a little bit.
So you just start with number 1, go ahead.
Yeah, and actually start from the top up there. It says cervical spine diagnosis. Okay, and then go. What's the next one?
Occipital, Alano, C0, C1, supine, condylar glide.
Okay, good. So, see, some people manual therapy don't call it the OA joint, they'll actually go 0, 1 or 1, 2. So you got to kind of be aware of that. All right, good.
All right, first step, patient supine on table with operator sitting at head of table.
We're standing. Okay, so I'm going to stand. Got it.
Step 2, operator grasps the sides of the head with each hand and rotates the head 30 degrees to the right.
Why do I rotate it 30 degrees? We'll talk about that in a minute. Okay.
Step 3, operator introduces anterior translation, gliding the right condyle anteriorly, sensing for resistance.
So I am moving the OA joint into extension.
Step 4, operator translates the head posteriorly, requiring the right condyle to glide posteriorly.
I did an OA flexion.
Step 5, operator rotates head 30 degrees to the left. 6, operator introduces anterior translatory movement of the head, forcing the left condyle to glide forward.
Okay.
7, operator introduces posterior translation of the head, asking the left condyle to glide posteriorly, sensing for resistance to movement.
Got it. Now, that's the end, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, this is to explain your anatomy and why it was important again. Okay, so we're taking the occiput and moving it on the atlas. That's what we're doing, 0 on 1. And before we did this one, we just put the person in a neutral position, went boom, boom, and it looked at both of them, right? Okay. This is a step in the direction of evaluating one side or the other. Because guess what? Foes probably won't happen. Or if it does, you're lucky. But this helps us evaluate a single side. And in our patient that we have as an example, they have a single side problem, right? It hurts on their right. So, if you think about the atlas, remember we had the atlas, and it had its 2 facet joints that were concave that the occiput sits on top of? Do you remember they weren't straightforward, right? They were what? About 30 degrees. And so what happens, if you can see this too, what happens, you guys good? If I rotate the head 30 degrees to the right, what does this right condyle all of a sudden become? Very lined up in the sagittal plane. See me? And if I go back to neutral, okay, they're at 30 degrees, but if I rotate to the left, this left one gets what? Very much in the sagittal plane now. So this is a way to try to evaluate the right side and the left side. And you're going to look at their quality and the quantity of motion. Okay, make sense? And you're going to compare right to left. So our patient that we have had problems on the right, correct? So I'm going to assume when I rotate her to the right and I evaluate OA flexion, it's going to be reduced in its quantity and quality of motion as compared to when I do the left. In addition, I may have seen a Foes, where when they went this way, the nose went to the left. Maybe, maybe not. Okay? So this is really simple. It's nothing different than you've already done as far as moving of the head. It's just doing it in 30 degrees of rotation right, 30 degrees rotation to the left, and you're just lining that condyle up in the sagittal plane. Easy as breezy, right? So, now this particular test, when you read it in full, you notice they went into extension first, right? And then they went into flexion. You really don't need to do the extension part, to be honest with you. We're really just after the flexion, honestly. So you could just zip, get to the point here. So in this particular patient's case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate him about 30 degrees to the right. I'm going to evaluate OA flexion, and then I'm going to rotate him 30 degrees to the left and OA flexion. Now, what I want you to do is don't let me move your OA joint into flexion when I have you rotated to the right. Okay, keep it lit if you can, tighten up a bit, and then when I rotate you to the left, let me move it. So I'm going to try to simulate what you might see in this patient now, okay? So, he's my patient. I rotate him, I try to move him, cement. Turn him to the left 30, supple. I went like this, when his nose went to the left, when I did bilateral, guess what? Ding, 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 ding. OA joint on the right, dysfunctional. Alert. Make sense?